In this video essay, I will talk about the Italian film director Michelangelo Antonioni and his films in relation to modernity. However, before we start, here is some background information to my argument and some definitions that will help you follow along. Let's start with art cinema. Prevalent in the 1960s and 70s, art cinema is the cinematic current Antonioni is most commonly associated with. Art cinema aims at rethinking cinema and refuses to abide by the classical Hollywood cinema rules, which are known to focus on the film's narratives and continuity. Commonly, art cinema films require more attention from the audience, lack a clear continuity structure, and are visually stunning. Modernity, a historical period starting after the creation of Gutenberg's printing press and continuing on through the evolution of capitalism and industrialism. In his films, Antonioni investigates modernity and produces modernist films. Pay attention in understanding that modernity and modernism are not the same. Where modernity is the cause, modernism is its effect. Modernism, the behaviors, thoughts, and actions influenced by modernity, prevalently represented through the art houses in depicting the industrialization effects on people's emotions. A common topic that modernist texts display is the feeling of alienation. Alienation, when one feels individually and socially left out, isolated or estranged. In modernist texts, the characters usually have a hard time communicating with their environment, both people and setting-wise. And it is precisely in the theme of alienation that Antonioni finds most of his inspiration for his films. Let's watch how Antonioni does it. Let's take the director's first color film, Deserto Rosso, as an example. In the film, Antonioni's mise-en-scène is a continuous contrast between factories and nature being both environmental and human. The protagonist, Giuliana, played by Monica Vitti, is a tormented woman that struggles with depression and who seems cannot bring herself to accept the reality around her. Her personal struggle with her reality embodies the struggle with industrialization. As a result, Giuliana feels alienated by her environment. Through colors, sound, and specific camera framing, Antonioni shows Giuliana's sense of alienation with the modern reality around her. Being his first color film, Antonioni uses color symbolically. Playing a lot with contrasts, Antonioni often portrays the difference between Giuliana's emotions and the outside world through the colors on screen. Where Giuliana is often portrayed with bright colors, the industrialized world is depicted with somber colors. This contrast heightens Giuliana's sense of exclusion and her feeling of alienation. The second technique Antonioni uses to further the sense of alienation is with sound. Where sound is usually a big helping hand in Hollywood cinema in helping the audience follow along emotionally and mentally, here it is not. Antonioni's use of sound is diegetic and does not help the audience's understanding in relation to the narrative. Sound is another example of the alienation Giuliana experiences. As the last technique and also most low-key of them all, Antonioni's mastery in expressing emotions through camera movements is central to the representation of alienation in his films. By avoiding the shot-reverse shots and jump shots, Antonioni's camera movements are smooth and subtle, mirroring the silent transition that modernity too had on people. Antonioni changes scenes simply by panning through the setting, and so creates new frames without the need of editing after. The scenes are carefully choreographed and the wide angles used help include more details. Through the wide angles, Antonioni is also able to highlight the thematic contrasts he wants to portray. In fact, Giuliana's sense of alienation is also seen on screen by her position in regard to those around her. She is separated from the other characters and is shot from behind in order to show what she is seeing directly. What you just saw was a brief explanation to understanding the link between Antonioni and modernity. In Deserto Rosso, Antonioni focuses on showing the effect industrialization had on both the social and natural environment. Antonioni is an artist that reflects his modernist ideas through Giuliana's eyes,